There's a very simple yet powerful technique that all of the great thinkers, mystics, and saints have been using intentionally. And if you don't know this technique and don't use it, you might create problems and friction in your life that is completely unnecessary. And in this video today, we will talk about exactly what that secret technique is and why it is so important for you to use it so that the growth that you are going through really lands and you can really express, create, and live your life from the new identity that you are experiencing. It's a classic example. You are having an experience, maybe after years of thinking about something, or you are going through a phase in which you really like to go deeper with yourself, and suddenly there is this moment of awe where you suddenly understand something about yourself, about life, about relationship, whatever it is, and you are deeply moved. You recognize what is taking place here is not just a thought coming through, but it is really anchored in a deeper identity shift that is necessary for you now to grow. And the classic example is that when we have this experience, of course, it is moving us. Wow, what is going on? I can see through new eyes. I, for example, had it last weekend. I was in a state in a very difficult mood, and once again I was thinking, why is this not working or that not working? And I was doing a journaling practice about it that was really good. And I was writing down things, and suddenly there was this moment where something happened inside of me that really opened my heart. And actually, I try to be a good person. I always work with myself. I always work on my topics. But this moment was special because suddenly when I felt this opening and I could see not just through the mind that is always criticizing, but through the heart where so much compassion towards myself and to others was finally opening up, I had an experience that was really profound. And I noticed this is not just an insight, but this is something where on a deeper identity level, I'm shifting into a new version of myself. Now comes the very difficult thing. Most of the time, when we have those experiences, of course, we are excited. And we like to share. We don't want to be alone in that experience. And we also want others to participate in it. It might even be that we are sharing it and then our partner might also understand it. And how beautiful would it be if both of us would just kind of grow? And I see it so often in the life of my clients when they are going through this identity shift, which happens a lot in the coaching and therapy work, and they want to bring their partners on board and they want to celebrate it and experience it together. But then there comes the moment where they are starting to talk about it and they start to explain their growth to other people. And you might know that too. Just imagine or think about a situation where you had this new insight or this new feeling and you are like, wow, I want to share it with the world. And you do that. And then comes resistance. The other person is not really getting it. It might not be the right moment where you are sharing it. So no real active listening is taking place. And you are kind of, in a way, giving it out and you get a dismissive look. Or you get this, oh yeah, that sounds cool. And now what do we buy in the supermarket? Or whatever's happening. So something is taking place where you bring this precious new thing, this precious new way or version of yourself a little bit too early into the space and it's getting blurry or it's getting dismissed. Or in worst case, you're getting attacked. And so it's really important to understand what's going on here. Now you have to imagine there is the tale. I don't know if it's true or not, but there is the tale that when Buddha got enlightened, he had to wait 7 or 8 weeks till he was sharing it with his closest disciples or students. So he was not sharing it. And we also see it, for example, with people like Carl Gustav Jung. He was experiencing the phenomena of synchronicities where suddenly the universe and everything seems to be interconnected, and you have those experiences where you think about something and then it's happening, or it's a very common phenomenon that many of us experience, where it's getting like, whoa, what is going on here? Might it be really real that the universe is totally connected and that a higher intelligence is bringing all of that together? And when he was starting to think about this idea, which was for that time kind of a little bit shaky, because he was a scientist and he didn't want to kind of go into the esoterics of things, he was waiting 20 years of contemplation and working with this idea till he wrote his first essay about it. And we also know that from all of the mystics and saints, they have been experiencing profound moments of elevation, of contact, of union with God, for example, or had mystical experiences. But they took them as a secret and held them to themselves first. So the technique that I'm talking about here is keep your secret. And it has nothing to do with holding back and not wanting to share the precious diamond. But keeping the secret of your own inner transformation is super important. And we will explore now what is happening when you're doing that and why you need to do that in that way. So you have this experience and you recognize this is a profound shift. And of course you like to share, but wait a second. First, this is a secret and you want to hold it. Why is it so important to do that? Because when you're holding the secret, you are allowing yourself first to more deeply immerse yourself into it. You contemplate about it. Maybe you journal, you write, you paint a picture. You hold it dear to your heart over a couple of days, maybe even months. So you allow this new identity, this shift, this new step on your path to really land inside of yourself first. And the difficulty is, if we talk about it, we might not even find the right words. But if you hold it to yourself, maybe suddenly, step by step, you recognize, oh, this is how I could express it. Or an image comes up that beautifully describes this inner shift that is taking place. Because let's be honest, if I would, after my little heart opening, which already a lot of people would not even understand, what does it mean, heart opening? That sounds very fluffy. But maybe I find something like, you know what, I had the feeling that I'm a closed flower and suddenly this flower was opening and I was able, as the flower, to see more of the world, to get more of the sun rays into myself. Might still be fluffy for someone, but I create an image that makes it more available to others. So when you are immersing yourself deeper into your own experience, finding words, contemplating about it, letting it deepen, of course you are also exploring deeper levels of that experience. Because a common thing is that if we have such a strong identity shift, if we might have a little bit of a mystical awe or a height experience, like we really like, whoa, what is going on here? It's often very common that this vanishes, because then we have like day to day, we have to go to work, we have to do our emails, we go to the supermarket buying something, and suddenly 2-3 days after, it's lost. It's like you're looking into a photo album and you say like, yeah, there was this day when I had this experience, but actually, I'm not there anymore. I don't feel it anymore. It's like a memory. But what we want to do is we want to take the full impact of that experience and we want to really go deep with it. We want to hold it. We want to be with it. And it does not mean that we have the high experience all the time. No, it means that we are processing, we are working with it. We are creating the recipe, the dish, like we are in the soup, we are kind of turning the spoon once more and once more till the soup really gets ripe and gets tasty. And another thing is that when we are prematurely oversharing our experience, we might not even have been able to embody it fully. And the whole idea of keeping the secret to yourself, of not starting to share your growth too early with others, means that you are able to embody it. And embodiment means that you're not only thinking about what is taking place, you are not just kind of vaguely feeling it anymore, but you're really bringing it into action. It's grounded, it's landing. It's not there out in space. No, you really bring it into your full person, into your full expression. And when you are doing that, the beauty is that your actions will start to shift. Your energy, your vibe, your glow will start to shift. And this has much more power and impact in sharing what is going on with you than just talking about it. So then, for example, in relationships that are very close to us, this classic of the other person getting resistant about your shift or your change, suddenly it is a non-verbal invitation for the other person to grow with you. And that doesn't mean that there are not moments where you recognize and sense now is a very good moment to share something. And then you should do it. And of course, if the trust level is good, you can do that. But I have been experiencing many times in my life that I was so moved and so enthusiastic that I was sharing it and poof, it was gone. Just because another person said like, yeah, that's nice, or, oh, what does that mean now? Or, yeah, then I want to see how you do it now in your life. Like all these kind of things that can, in these early stages, really bring friction and problems. So you're starting to embody it, you start to act like it, you get the glow, you influence non-verbally and without talking about it. And then if there are moments where you feel now is a good moment to share, you can share. And that is very beautiful. And when you're using this technique from now on, which I highly recommend, and it's not super easy, but I highly recommend it, you will see how much more influence and impact you have. So what I suggest to you is to practice that. One thing that I can highly recommend, I've been creating the Brilliant State meditation, which is a guided meditation that helps you, if you have those experiences, to really deepen them, to really bring them down into your own being, to embody more of it, to also maybe get rid of, self-sabotaging thoughts around it. So it really brings you really much into center and helps you to embody even more of the transformation that you have been going through. So I highly recommend it to you. Download link is in the descriptions. And when we are looking into those lives of people that are practicing that simple and powerful technique, you see that most of the time, even without all the people around them not really knowing what is going on with them, they got the glow. They had this holiness around them, and people felt it. They felt that these transformed beings had a totally different way of living. So now when you're practicing that, when you're allowing yourself to let that really sink in, embodying it, acting from it, also allowing yourself that there are days where it's not really working out, where you're still the past shitty me, which is taking place, like you can have a high experience and the next day you're like super frustrated and annoying, which is totally fine. But you are learning that step by step. And when you do that consistently, you are empowering yourself in ways you can't even imagine. One of the signs that you are going through such a profound shift is that you might not feel as yourself anymore, as the self that you are used to be. I highly recommend to you my video, Why You Are Not Feeling Like Yourself Anymore, where I explain what is taking place, how you can spot those identity shifts, and how you can go through them in a way that helps you to really become this new version of yourself that is more complete, more fulfilling, and more like you. So see you in the next video.